students, previously we have completed our chapter belonging to states of matter. In that chapter we have completed solid state, and now we are going to start our next chapter, that is properties of solutions. In this chapter we will cover topics: introduction of solution, molecular view of solution process, ideal or non-ideal solutions, Raoult's law, concentration units, and colligative properties. In colligative properties, in detail we will study uh, relative lowering of vapor pressure, osmotic pressure, elevation in freezing point, depression in depression in freezing point, elevation in boiling point. All these topics we will cover in the properties of solutions or in colligative properties. So first topic is introduction of solution. So we will start about in this presentation we will cover introduction of solution and the molecular view of solution processes, how the solution at the molecular level are formed, what will be the basic mechanism behind the solution process, what will be the energetics of the solution process when we are going to dissolve some solute in a solvent. So these topics will be covered in that presentation. Next is the what is basic consideration about the properties of solution or the basic characteristic properties of solution. Generally, whenever we discuss about the solution, it's very common we will consider that we have, for a solution we have two basic things, where one act as a solute and second one act as a solvent. Solute is that species which is taken in the small amount, and solvent is that species which is taken in larger quantity. Somewhere it's also written that solute is in solid state or solvent is in a liquid state. That is a wrong consideration. Whenever we discuss about solution and what will be the solute and solvent, we basically consider that the thing which is in smaller quantity, they act as a solute, and the thing which is in excess or larger quantity relative to the solute, they served as a solvent. But whenever we discuss about the solution, we generally define as a solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. Homogeneous is what? Homogeneous is that substance which is completely miscible. In that slide we can also differentiate what is homogeneous and heterogeneous. We can visualize in that slide homogeneous like salt and water act as a homogeneous mixture, and heterogeneous is oil and water which having two different phases, so they served as a heterogeneous mixtures. Or we can also say that a solution is a homogeneous mixture of atom, ions or molecules having a single phase. That is also considered as a solution. In our first point, it's also written that a solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. It means two or more substances. It means we can take more than two solvents and a single solute, or one solute and one solvent. So it's up to the solution process whether we take two solvent or one solute, or two solute and one solvent. But they are completely miscible, or they form homogeneous mixture. The second one thing is it is composed of only one phase. Again, that is related to the homogeneous or the heterogeneous mixtures. So they act as if they have a single phase, so they are considered as they have a single phase substance, like salt in water. In that slide we can also visualize that salt in water having a single phase rather than oil in water, which is also shown in that slide having two different phases. So it's essential for to identify any solution that it is composed of only one phase or having a single phase. The particle of solute in a solution cannot be seen by naked eye. It means we cannot visualize the particle of solute by naked eye until or unless we need a sophisticated tool to visualize these substances, but they cannot be visualized by naked eye. A solution is stable. A solution must always be stable in nature. If we kept it for an hour, for a day, so it will retain its identity. So a solution should be stable one. A solution does not allow beam of light to scatter. That is basically related to Tyndall effect, which is also mentioned in that slide by a picture. You can also visualize in that slide Tyndall effect. It means if we pass light through a solution, it will there is no dispersion of light observed or scattering of light observed when we pass light through solution, while in colloidal and suspension you can observe scattering of light. A solution does not allow beam of light to scatter, so it means solution will not allow the scattering of the light when we pass a light through its solution. That is basically related to the Tyndall effect. It means in solution we cannot visualize solute particles. For example, if we dissolve NaCl in water and we pass light through that solution, we cannot visualize the solute particle within the solution, while in colloidal and in that we can take example of milk. If we pass light through that solution, these particles can be visualized. And in suspension we can take example of flour and water, and we pass the light through that solution. We can also visualize the scattering of light due to the presence of bigger size solute particles within that solution. The next is the solute from a solution cannot be separated by filtration or mechanically. It means through any mechanical method we cannot separate the particles of solute from a solution. For example, by filtration or by mechanical separation, we cannot separate the particle of solute from the solution. These are generally common characteristic properties of solutions through which we can identify whether that is a solution or a colloidal solution or a suspension. On the basis of phase difference, we can categorize. There are three types of solutions on the basis of phase. Number one is solid solution, second one is the liquid solution, and third one is the gaseous solution. In solid solution, again there is subcategory of solid liquid, solid gas, and in liquid solution, liquid solid, liquid and liquid gas, and in gaseous solution, gas solid, gas liquid, and the gas. Here are some examples which is given in that table, where we can consider mainly how these solutions are formed by taking the difference in the phases. For example, if we are taking the example of solid solutions, we can consider that in solid solutions, solids are it means solid act as a solute, and solid substance also act as a solvent. So it means that in solid solutions, one of the substance which act as a solute and second one also act as a solvent. So in that slide we can take the example of steel, which is where solute act as a carbon act as a solute, and the solvent iron act as a solvent. The second one is the liquid solid. In liquid solids or solid, we can also take the or solid in solid we can also take the example of alloys, where we can take brass as example, and in solid solute zinc, which is also present in the solid state, act as a solute, and copper, which is also present in the solid state, act as a solvent. But the basic thing is for a solution is the presence of solute in smaller quantity and the solvent in larger quantity, so they serve as a solution. Whether they are in solid state, whether they are in solid liquid state. In solid liquid we can take the example of amalgam, like sodium and mercury, or in solid gaseous state we can take the example of hydrogen gas on a lead, where hydrogen gas act as a catalyst on some metallic particle or metallic solids. The next is the liquid solutions. In liquid solutions, first one is very common, solute act as a solid state and liquid act as a solvent, which we commonly observe in our daily life. Sugar in water, salt in water, where solute, sugar or salt present in smaller quantity, while water, which act as a solvent, present in larger quantity. So that is a very common example of liquid solid state. In liquid state we can take example of binary alcohols, binary solution of alcohols, like ethanol, methanol in water, 10% ethanol, 10% methanol in water, where alcohol is also exists in the liquid state, and water is present in excess quantity or in the larger quantity as a solvent. That is very common example of, or we can also visualize in that slide, vinegar, where acetic acid is a solute, act as a solute, while water act as a solvent. The last one is the in liquid state. Last one is the example of liquid gaseous state. In liquid gas we can take a very common example in our daily life, presence of carbon dioxide in our cold drink bottles, where carbon dioxide is a gas dissolved soda water. It's also visualized in that slide, the soda water example, where carbon dioxide gas is present and in a solvent, which is a water. So carbon dioxide is present in smaller quantity, which acts as a solute, and water as a solvent is present in excess or larger quantity as compared to the solute. Then last one example of phase difference in the or types of solutions on the basis of the phase is the gaseous solution. In that we can take the example of gas solid, gas liquid, and the gas solution. For gas solid we can take the example of smoke, where carbon is present in the air. In gas liquid we can take the example of water vapor in the air, and the gas we can consider the presence of which is also visualized in that slide. In the gas we can consider the example of air, which is a mixture of number of gases, like nitrogen, which is in larger quantity, So we can take nitrogen as a solvent and oxygen, which is in 21%, which is present in the smaller quantity, so we can take as oxygen as a solute. There are few basic terms which are involved in our solution chapter, which we have to go through before we going to start our Raoult's law or the concentration units or other topics. These are the common terms which we use in our next lectures, that is the aqueous solution, non-aqueous solution, binary or binary solutions or the binary mixture, ternary solutions. Some more basic terms are also taken under consideration, that is the concentrated solution or the diluted solutions. In aqueous solution, aqueous solution are those solutions where when one of the solvent is water, where water is present as a solvent, while in non-aqueous solution where solvent is other than water. If we are using any other solvent other than water, like alcohols, so we can take these solutions as a non-aqueous solutions, that is not an organic compound. Common examples are liquid ammonia, liquid sulfur dioxide. Binary solutions or binary mixture, a mixture of two liquids that are completely miscible one with another, like water and alcohol, or alcohol and water. Binary solutions, as the word indicate, bi means two, so it is clear that binary solutions or binary mixtures are those mixtures or solution which are formed by the combination of two substance, where one act as a solute and second one act as a solvent. Ternary solutions, as its name indicates, ternary means tri. It means the one in which three components are present, either two solvents or one solute, or one solvent or two solute. For example, salt, sugar, present in water. So they act as a ternary solution. The basic thing within or we will also consider concentrated solutions or the diluted solution. Concentrated solutions or those solution where solute is present in large quantity, while diluted solution is that solution where solute is present in smaller quantity as compared to the solvent. So these are the few terms which we use in our next presentations, so you have to go through these basic terms. Because the binary mixtures or the binary solutions is the very basic important topic in that chapter, properties of solution, because in Raoult's law we mainly consider the binary solutions. Now the basic topic which is the molecular view of the solution process, how the solutions are formed, and what will be the basic mechanism behind the solution process, or what will happen when we dissolve a solute within a solvent. So to consider molecular view of the solution processes, we consider that molecules are held together by intermolecular force of attraction. It is general consideration. Molecules having some force of attraction, and these force of attraction are due to the presence of some intermolecular forces among the molecules. Particles of solute disperse throughout the solvent. Whenever solution process will start, solute particles disperse throughout the solvent. Solute particles occupy space given by the solvent molecules. Solute particles occupy those vacant spaces which are given by the solvent molecule. Solute particles replace solvent molecules depend on these three interactions. It means a replacement of solvent molecules by solute, depending on these three interactions, which is basically solute solvent, and the solvent solvent interaction. Solution process taking place in three steps. Basically, solution process when we dissolve any solute within a solvent, like if we are going to dissolve sodium chloride in water, the basic step behind that dissolution process is the step 1, separation of solvent molecules. It means water molecules separate out. Separation of solute molecules, it means sodium chloride particles will separate out and converted into the ionic species. And the third one is the mixing of solute and the solvent molecules. How sodium chloride mix with the solvent molecules. In that picture, you can also visualize that here is the solvent and here is the solute, which you can consider any solute like sugar, NaCl,